First to open your eyes by when you are going through a suffering. I'm going through suffering. I know there are many people who are going through suffering like me, right? There are many people who are going through suffering like me, or more than me, sort of like that kind of, It is true. It is our mind wanted to think that, to make ourselves more kind of pity, like a feeling pity on ourselves, but don't let yourself feel pity. Then it will become more suffering. So that is why just open yourself up. That is why the first stage of Tonglen meditation is opening your mind. When suffering tends to narrow our mind, don't let yourself to narrow it. Just remember that, open it. Okay, just open. Like, I'm feeling, other people might be feeling that kind of thing. Or some people might be feeling more than that. Right? If you have a physical pain, like, we have a headache, and this headache is the whole world, right, at that time. But actually, there are much worse pain that other people are going through. So we don't see that. So that is why that is just a first level of Tonglen meditation, first stage of Tonglen meditation. Even when you're doing this, you're doing a Tonglen meditation. Just opening yourself. And after you open, then you can see, and then the rest of the Tonglen meditation comes a little bit easier once you're open. If you're not open, if you think I'm the only person who's suffering this, then what are you going to do, right? You're not going to do anything, because that conception is totally wrong. You're not the only person who is suffering. There are other people who are suffering too. So that opening mind is the first level. Okay, once you are open, now you're open. Now you're thinking, your suffering is not too big now, right? The suffering that you're having, and then it is like, I'm suffering and there are many other people suffering. And then you do here sort of like generate this kind of thought. Like, okay, I'm suffering, so I'm going to suffer this, for them, sort of like that. So may they don't have the suffering. I'm feeling the suffering. May I take all their suffering. Instead of everybody, going through the same suffering, like kind of like you just generate this prayer saying, may I have the other people suffering. I'm suffering, so I'll just, suffer for them. That kind of attitude, that kind of practice, that kind of prayer. And that is the second level of, what do you call, Tonglen. This is Tonglen, it is like you are giving a prayer for the other sentient being. You're giving a prayer, wish, good wish. You're sending your wish. And then what you are receiving is, you're accepting the pain that you have, and you just kind of, feeling this pain for them, sort of like that kind of meditation. Then, once we have this kind of like a first stage and second stage of Tonglen, then, your real Tonglen practice is, now it is easy, right? Now it's easy. You have an attitude. You accept the suffering, and your mind is open, because you don't think that you are the only person who is suffering. And then you have a great wish that you have this wish, this great aspiration to, wish to free everybody from suffering. So on top of that, then when you sit in a meditation of Tonglen, breathe in the suffering of all the sentient beings. And also you can just sort of like, accept the whole negativity. It's not just the suffering, it is the whole negativity. And breathe in all the negativities, and then transform it. And then breathe out the positivity. Kind of like recycle them and give it to all the sentient being back. So that is we call this a Tonglen meditation. like basically tong means give, len means to receive. So, giving and receiving. Giving what? Giving our good things, and then receiving the bad things. And sometimes we think that it is like, because it is scary, right? It is just sort of like what we learn as, in this culture is always kind of like, be positive, right? That is the message. Be positive. Don't take the other people's suffering, right? Don't take the other people's suffering. Be positive. And this actually go against that philosophy. And this go against that philosophy, and our mind kind of doesn't want to do that. So letting our mind to accept that, letting our mind to accept that it is okay. And then many times it become actually a great healing meditation.